was sitting in a car when two vehicles, a stolen Acura TL and an Audi SQ5, pulled up. Hood Stars members RICO, RQ, and Curly were in those vehicles and opened fire with rifle caliber weapons. Jamari was struck multiple times. A 3-year-old child riding nearby was also shot.
That's crazy,
Jamari
bro.
was rushed to a nearby hospital
and y'all
but
hit
was
a
pronounced
3-year-old
dead
baby,
shortly after
bro?
arrival at just 16 years old. He was the kind of guy who DM'd a victim's mom with a laughing emoji the day her son was killed.
So you killed your op and then DM'd his mom a laughing emoji? Like, this is past being a street dude. This is plain, straight, just stupidity.
Hartford, a major gang takedown. In fact, a violent gang has been terrorizing Hartford's notorious North End for more than a decade.
But a long FBI investigation has multiple gang leaders or associates in jail tonight.
Hartford? Where that's at?
This gang, this violent gang, is accused of murdering people, rival gang members, innocent people, dealing drugs, selling guns, just wreaking havoc on one of our cities.
This Connecticut?
We're learning more tonight
Hartford,
about the dark and bloody war between two rival gangs in Hartford. The FBI says it lasted for almost a decade.
The Hood Stars gang, its members and associates, promoted a climate of fear in the Hartford community through violence and the threats of violence.
From 2019 to 2022, one gang turned Hartford, Connecticut into a battlefield.
I didn't even know it was going down. I mean, I know it's going down everywhere for real, but
stolen cars, emptied clips in broad daylight, smuggled guns from out of state, then filmed rap videos bragging about it. Sadly, not just rival gang members, but also innocent civilians were caught up in their mayhem.
You know, if I was gang banging, I always say the last thing I would do is get on the internet and brag about the gang banging that I'm doing so that I don't get locked up. The fact that so many rappers have got locked up for that they was talking about in their songs and people is still doing it, it go to show you like how slow people is, folks.
By the time federal agents caught up, 6 people were dead, dozens more were wounded, and the city was left traumatized. They went from breaking local news to a federal RICO. The culprits responsible were none other than the Hood Star G's, and in this video, we'll be telling their story. But before we get into the video, please be sure to like and subscribe.
The Hood Star G's, that's the gang name?
The Hood Star G's, previously going by just the name Hood Stars, formed their organization in 2010. They controlled the areas of Capon Street, Westland Street, Enfield Street, and Main Street in Hartford, Connecticut. In 2011, one of their founding leaders was killed, leading to a new generation taking over. This generation was much more violent, reckless, and less organized. There was no hierarchy. No titles. You earned respect in the crew by catching bodies or accumulating drug money. Violence wasn't just a tactic, it was the culture. The Hood Stars sold crack, marijuana, cocaine, and xylazine-laced drugs across Hartford and into Vermont. They would purchase guns in Vermont using straw buyers and traffic them back into Connecticut. A straw buyer is a person who purchases goods or property on behalf of another person, concealing the identity of the real buyer. The Hood Stars would also steal vehicles, use them to commit murders, then burn them. And when they weren't sliding on rivals, they were recording drill tracks and flexing on social media. Their main war was with the Av Gang, based just blocks away on Albany Avenue in the north end of Hartford. In January 2025, a 15-count federal indictment named 7 key members of the Hood Stars as part of a racketeering enterprise. These weren't random names. These were the heavy hitters. Angel Rivera, also known as Rico or Slat, was the alleged orchestrator. He organized hits, supplied drugs, and was tied to several murders directly. Raekwon Knight, aka RQ, was Rivera's enforcer. He wasn't just a shooter. He was the kind of guy who DM'd a victim's mom with a laughing emoji the day her son was killed.
So you killed your op and then DM'd his mom a laughing emoji? Like, this is past being a street dude. This is plain, straight, just stupidity. Just at its finest, bro. I'm not gonna say I can't believe it, but it's just hard for me to believe that people could be this stupid because I'm not this stupid. Do you understand what I said? I want to put y'all on to some of the easiest money you'll ever make in your life. Freecash.com is a website that allows you to literally get paid hundreds of dollars just for playing video games on your phone. All you need is an email and a password. Follow the directions on each of the campaigns and you can earn at least $100. My personal favorite game to play was Sunrise Island, and when I clicked on it, they had a $370 bonus. I got $370 just for playing a video game on my phone. On average, it only takes about 17 minutes for most people to start earning money on freecash.com. So if you need some free, easy, extra money, go to freecash.com, click the QR code right here, or go in the description below and start getting that bag. You did?
Paul Downer, who performed under the name Luat Benji, was also a shooter, known for shooting someone in the femoral artery over a drug debt in Vermont. Makai Thompson, aka Midnight, was considered one of the most dangerous members of the crew, allegedly involved in multiple murders.
Now
Paul,
all they
also called Tommy Buns, helped manage trafficking and logistics. Tyshawn Walker, aka Pone Guapo, was linked to one of the murders. And finally, there was Joshua Cruz, aka Hop Out Curly, who was also an alleged shooter. The Hoodstar G's would go on a multi-year shooting spree, primarily targeting Av gang members, with innocent civilians also being caught in the mix.
Innocent civilians is crazy. The death of Jamari, Preston, Av gang.
On April 10th, 2021, at 4:46 p.m., shots rang out near the 100 block of Magnolia Street. An Av gang member named Jamari Preston, aka Mari, was sitting in a car when two vehicles, a stolen Acura TL and an Audi SQ5, pulled up. Hoodstar's members RICO, RQ, and Curly were in those vehicles and opened fire with rifle caliber weapons. Mari was struck multiple times. A 3-year-old child riding nearby was also shot.
That's crazy,
Mari
bro.
was rushed to a nearby hospital
And y'all
and was
hit a
pronounced
3-year-old
dead shortly
baby,
after
bro?
arrival at just 16 years old. The Hoodstars would flee the scene, abandon the vehicles, and set them on fire in order to destroy any evidence. Police later recovered both burned getaway vehicles. Following Mari's death, RQ would go as far as DMing.
Why do people think that you could? So you think you gonna kill somebody, burn the car, and then DM their mama after you killed them with a laughing emoji, and you think you gonna get away? And then get on the internet and brag about the murder on a song, and you think you gonna? Why do these niggas think that just burning a car is just gonna magically just clear their name? I don't understand that shit. And then these be the same dumb who slide, they going to commit real murders with their phone in their pocket. Come on, bro.
His mother on Facebook to mock her about his death, and multiple Hoodstars members made songs dissing him. This was only the beginning of the murders they would commit. Less than a year later, on January 18, 2022, just before 7 p.m., Kendall Fair, better known on the street as Swerve, was shot and killed while parked on Mather Street. The gunman pulled up in a stolen Infiniti M37 and unloaded over 40 rounds, many from a modified Glock with a switch. Swerve died on arrival at the hospital at just 22 years old. 3 other people in his car were wounded. RICO, Pone Guapo, and Curly are alleged to be the gunmen in this incident. The police would later find the Infiniti burned to a crisp. The Hoodstars would celebrate this murder and go on to frequently mention Swerve in a disrespectful manner in their songs.
The death of Brian Evans, Av gang, so they just out here smoking everybody.
On August 1st, 2022, around 12:30 a.m., shots were fired on Winter Street in Hartford. Av gang member Brian Evans, 23 years old, was sitting in a car with 2 others when gunfire erupted. Federal prosecutors allege RICO was the shooter, using blackout ammunition and a Glock modified with a switch. Brian was struck and rushed to the hospital, but pronounced dead shortly after. 2 others were wounded. This shooting was believed to be retaliation for the May 2022 murder of a Hoodstars member named Jamie Holmes. Members of the Hoodstars believe that Brian was the one that killed him. Sadly, after this, the Hoodstars would go on to kill innocent civilians in back-to-back months. On September 14, 2022, around 7:45 p.m., a 28-year-old man named Devontae Gardner was walking near Park Avenue and Garden Street in East Hartford. Devontae was an employee of a rental car agency called Simple Auto Rental. He had rented a car to the Hoodstars member named Midnight, but it was not returned on time. Midnight and Devontae would get into an argument over the return of the car. That same evening, Midnight and another Hood Stars member tracked him down.
What the f? You see what I mean? Just weird. So he worked for the car rental company. Y'all rented the car from him. You didn't turn the car back in time. He probably tried to see like, hey, bro, can you come bring the car back? You got into it because you supposed to be this big bad wolf, I guess. So you hunted this down and killed him for trying to get the rental car back?
Once he found him, Midnight opened fire. Devontae was hit multiple times and taken to Hartford Hospital, where he was pronounced dead shortly after.
These niggas be slow as gang, I'm telling you, boy. And this another innocent that ain't did nothing to nobody.
On the evening of October 27, 2022, around 5:30 to 6 p.m., a 23-year-old man named Manuel Rodriguez was driving down New Park Avenue when his car was rammed into by another car being driven by Midnight. After striking Manuel's car, Midnight fled the scene, attempting to pull off a hit and run. Refusing to let it go, Manuel followed Midnight's vehicle down.
So again, this is weird, bro. These be weirdos. That's why I do not feel bad. Y'all could call me the police, the feds, whatever y'all want to call me, shorty. I do not feel bad when goofies like, especially when goofies like this get locked up. I don't feel bad at all, gang. I be happy. What you talking about? He out here just smoking people for no reason. So you hit him and tried to get away. And he tried to track you down so he can get your insurance and shit. And you killed him.
Pull off a hit and run. Refusing to let it go, Manuel followed Midnight's vehicle down Hillside Avenue. Around 6:59 p.m., Manuel pulled up near the 500 block, at which point Midnight allegedly jumped out holding a gun and heartlessly shot Manuel.
That's crazy.
Manuel was transported to the hospital, but will ultimately pass away from his injuries.
That's crazy, bro.
Eventually, all of the murders that the Hood Stars were committing would catch up to them and land them behind bars.
They want to go to jail. They worked hard to go to jail, gang. They want to go to jail. They didn't work hard to stay out of jail. They worked hard to make sure that they stay in jail, bro.
Development in the fight against violence in Hartford. 7 alleged gang members are facing federal charges for some of the most violent crimes.
By the end of 2022, the chaos caused by the Hood Stars had finally reached a breaking point. The gang's brazen violence, public taunts, and increasingly reckless shootings had drawn the attention of federal law enforcement. Behind the scenes, agencies including the FBI, ATF, DEA, and the U.S. Attorney's Office were working closely with Hartford police to build a case. Over time, they connected the dots, linking music videos to real shootings, matching shell casings to burned out vehicles, and pulling cell phone data that placed gang members at the scenes of multiple homicides. In January of 2025, after nearly 2 years of surveillance and evidence gathering, the U.S. Attorney for the District of Connecticut unsealed a sweeping 15-count indictment under the RICO Act. The indictment charged 7 key members of the Hood Stars with operating as a violent criminal enterprise. Among the charges were 6 murders committed in aid of racketeering, 8 attempted murders, drug distribution across state lines, illegal firearms possession, and conspiracy to commit violent crimes. The indictment also included witness intimidation, as several members had threatened people online and in person to remain silent. When the feds executed their search warrants, what they found confirmed the scope of the operation. Officers recovered over 5 pounds of along with quantities of marijuana, cocaine, xylazine, and oxycodone. They also found 16 firearms, many with illegal Glock switches and
16 guns with switches. That's
as
crazy.
well as multiple stolen vehicles used in previous attacks. Laptops and phones contained music files and social media posts where Hood Star members openly bragged about murders, taunted rival gangs, and mocked grieving families. The songs weren't metaphors, they were confessions. The 7 men arrested were Angel Rivera, known as RICO.
And the crazy part about it is these be in real life really look at like this and think they cool. And they think the person who go to school and get a job is lame. They think the YouTuber is lame. They think the who like playing a game all day is lame. They think the who like being in the house all day with his girlfriend is lame. You see
Raekwon Knight, known as RQ, Makai Thompson, known as Midnight, Joshua Cruz, known as Hop Out Curly, Paul Downer, known as Luwat Benji, Paul Clark, known as Tommy Buns, and Tyshawn Walker, known as Pone Guapo. Each of them now faces mandatory life in federal prison if convicted. RIP to everyone that passed away.
Oh, they gonna get convicted. The feds locked them up. FBI, open up! The feds locked them up. They gonna get convicted. It's not if, it's when.